It's just irresponsible.
Okay.
And to tag on to that, Reed, you always read in the newspaper the arrest, and you read the DA's press release about convictions. You don't read about the people who are acquitted or charges dismissed. They've had their names spread across newspapers indicating they've been charged with some type of offense, some of them serious, some of them morally wrong, but they're never told by that same media that that person may have been found not guilty by a jury, by a judge, or had his or her charges dismissed for other reasons. That never gets reported, and that's unfair.
So I would give you an example. I had defended an individual, and I'm not going to give names, but there were 3 individuals. They were charged with rape in the first degree. One was a teacher at the time. He was immediately fired. One was a coach. He lost his coaching position. The other one was an out-of-state individual. It was front page news. Their names were all over the paper. When it came down to trial, just before the trial was to commence, it was dismissed.
It's just been phony baloney.
Well,
meantime, they're dead now.
Their records and their names have been smeared forever.
Totally. Well, that's an interesting point, Billy and Jim. The many convictions, and we were talking earlier about the Romeo and Juliet romances and so forth, but statutory rape is a big problem, and it's basically a matter of geography. One state it's 18, in a number of states it's 18. Some of them are 17, some are 16, and in most of the rest of the world it's 14. A woman at 14 is old enough to know what she's doing. And in many states at 18, you realize that if you sleep with a college sophomore, she's not bright enough to say yes, and you could go to jail with a felony.
Well,
what do you think of that craziness?
Well, I'll give you my perspective on this, and I'm not, again,
You're not for statutory rape, and we're not talking about...
I'm not getting into that.
People who are jumping 10-year-old kids. We're talking about, normal adult behavior.
Well, I'll give you an example. I teach at the college, Fairleign State. Jim used to teach. I teach a criminal law class, and I teach the criminal law, and we get to statutory rape. And there's crimes they call malum in se and malum prohibitum.
Whatever that means.
Well, malum in se is just reprehensible crimes across society. Ones are crimes that are just prohibited by law. And what we have seen, and Jim has seen it a million times.
I'm being cut out of the picture here.
Well, we didn't want you to do that. But I'll just give you an example. If you're from certain countries in Latin America, where sex with anybody over 13 is not considered to be rape, and you migrate to this country, and now you're working whatever.
Canada's the same thing. Anybody over 13.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're 14 is their statutory rape level.
So the next thing you know, some guy has sex with a girl that he thinks that is of legal age, but he didn't realize that the legal age in this state was 16. They had to be at least 17, and they don't even realize they're committing a crime until they're arrested and they're brought into. And now they're talking. We are looking at rape third, which is an E felony.
Right.
More likely than not, I will say that you are allowed to plead if it is consensual and there's not any force involved, etc. You normally can get a sexual misconduct, but because, as I said before, sexual misconduct, which used to not be a registrable sex offense, is now a sex offense registrational offense, and they will normally walk out with a 2-year or usually a sex offender 2 or 1. But if they're a sex offender 2, it's a 20-year registration, and they don't even realize that they've committed a crime.
That's a craziness.
Well, but it's the law, and it's something we deal with every day. But if you were to stand as an assemblywoman or assemblyman and came forward and started to discuss this rationally, you would be looked at. The headline would be, "Reed Powers is in favor of sex offenders." It would not be that you want to have a legitimate debate or talk reasonably about an issue.
And even worse than that, not just the sex offenders, but pedophiles.
Right, that's right.
How does that fit in?
Well, I'm just saying that because they're underage, they can't give consent, and that's what you would be accused of. I'm saying there's no responsible reporting, I think, anymore when it comes to these issues.
They're just looking for headlines.
True.
Without a doubt.
They scream headlines.
And if anybody wants to have a rational discussion, then you're so mislabeled.
Well, you're exposed, terribly exposed to the press, right?
That's correct.
We have a couple of calls. You want to take a call?
Sure.
We're having a great time here. Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting. Hello?
Maybe they didn't.
Well, good morning.
Oh.
Well, good morning.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder what is social security implementation. It looks like with no COLAs, we may need it.
Yeah, no COLAs. Seniors aren't getting a COLA.
That's right, in 2010.
And they've lost 50% of purchasing power, according to the government itself, in the last 6 years.
Or were they going to get a check for
Social-
$250
no,
or something to help
so-
offset Medicaid or something?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They found out there's no inflation, which is just utter poppycock. I don't know how stupid must the Congress think the senior citizens are in this country, and over half of them vote. And I hope they do vote anybody who buys into this out, and they've got to roll back that no inflation lie with no COLA this year. And next year probably. Thank you, caller. Good point.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you. Okay, back to where were we? We were talking about pedophiles, huh?
No.
You know, talking about
If you watch very closely, watch what Jim says, watch what I say, and we always have to, everything has to be guarded. There can't be an open
Right,
debate
of course.
because people will say that I heard the Jim Subjack or Billy Coughlin on the things
Right.
advocating for sex offense, and
Well,
we're not.
But we love to bring that up as headlines now.
And that's
Okay,
not
we got
nearly
some
what
more
we're.
phone calls.
Okay.
Billy. What do you want to take one? Or you want
Sure.
to talk? All right, good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting. Hello? Are you there? What happened? Mort went to sleep again.
Oh, he's on the phone right now.
Yeah.
I think he lost it. Probably put him on hold and lost him.
You probably did. Okay, well, we'll try again. So anyway, yeah, that is a real problem. The media is sneaky and suspicious and evil in many ways. Otherwise, it's very important. The fourth estate, we've got to have the fourth estate.
Oh, there's-
We got to have somebody who will prod and poke and question the government. And in many countries, they've cut that out, especially North Korea and Argentina and Venezuela and a bunch of other countries.
I want a press
Yeah.
but the problem locally. I'll give you an example.
Locally, now we're talking about our Stock County papers, right?
Right.
Or who are kind of on top of the local stuff, and no one else is. Of course.
But I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
When I was working for Jim one time, I had an individual. I saw this name that was a name I recognized as a reporter from one of the local papers, and I was prosecuting at the time. And I said to the public defender, I said, "You can't represent this individual. They work for the local paper." And he looked at me and goes, "They qualify for the public defender's office.
Is that so?
They were paid so little. So if they do not invest the money to have the quality reporting that should be done. If you're going to say that you're going to have the truth above all else."
Okay.
It's our version of the truth about
Okay, good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting and coming back.
Good morning, Reed. Mort was sleeping, so he gotta. But I just wanted two things. The first thing is the Pet Remembrance Tree is going to be lit today at 1 for the Westfield Stray Cat Rescue.
Okay, that's over in the...
Easton Hall.
it's in Easton. I thought it was in the... I saw one in the new development there where it was burned out. Across from the gas station.
Maybe. I thought it was in Easton
Yeah,
Hall.
I saw it in the foyer of the new, what do they call it, the Westfield Mall or whatever, where they have they have the Verizon and Holtz and everybody else in there. But, and I have a cat ornament on that. We bought one for Telly, my long beloved cat of 15 years of being the perfect cat, and the bravest cat and the sweetest cat. And he's got an ornament up for him. And everybody else who wants to spend $5 to remember your cat, or even live or dead, I might add, it's a wonderful cause. It's tax deductible, and you certainly have the opportunity to memorialize your cat forever and ever, because you'll get the ornament afterwards, and you put it on your own tree. Thank you, caller, for reminding us.
Okay, and then the one other thing I was going to talk about real quick, I just want to ask you about is in record to driving. I know you can drink a bottle of soda or whatever when you're driving, but I'm not. Most people still are talking on their cell phones, texting while driving, even though it's illegal. Should we legalize that, or should we illegalize eating a hamburger or something like that while driving? Because to me, they seem to be one and the same, and I'll let you talk about that.
I don't know. I've had